Hey, it's Mega, aka the Art Messiah, here to save you from art sins. Welcome back to another art stream. It has been a little bit of time since our last session, and we got a few things to be working on today. So we're not going to really waste any time. We're going to jump right into it. But 1 second. Okay, so just getting my mic set up. Sorry for that. Probably heard a little extra like static and whatnot. Okay, so this is not my typical stream. It is a Monday, and it's right before noon. I'm going to be posting and releasing a new schedule for the next 2 weeks where I'm going to be increasing the amount of streams I do. Because we're going to be studying several artists' styles and doing style studies. We're going to be doing anatomy studies. And we're going to be working on some stickers for my monthly sticker club. For those of you that are interested in supporting me and supporting my project Ignition. So this is what these streams are going to be like. We're going to just hop in and we're going to talk about, how to do different things, different topics. And today the topic is how to copy artists' styles and improve your ability as an artist by using the Megaman copyability. And I like to think of, some artists I've seen, they'll say like, oh, how to steal like an artist, this and that, and then they go ahead and explain it. I think Megaman's copyability is kind of the perfect analogy here, because what we're doing is not really stealing, it's copying. It's making a duplicate of someone's ability, but even though we have that ability, we're going to be making use of it in completely different ways and making use of it only in the scenario in which we want to. So basically we want to gain control over that power. We don't just want to steal it and then have it in our arsenal. We want to know why we need this skill in our arsenal and when to pull it out. So that's what today is going to be all about. Really quickly before we hop into it, I'm going to do a quick little promotional section. So again, for those that don't know me, my name is Art Messiah. I am working on a webcomic called Ignition. Now the start of next month, I'm going to be starting to upload scenes again. This is kind of like a first demo scene that I posted to my YouTube. You guys can come over to this website and check it out. But what I want to show is that I have a links section and I have an online shop going. And I also have a newsletter right below that. But yeah, I have some digital sketchbooks that are currently on sale. And if you sign up as a subscriber, a paid subscriber on my newsletter, you will get both of these for free. I'll give you the access to those. And I have a whole bunch of cool stuff here. So I'm going to try to do a better job of just showing you guys. I'm making updates constantly to this website. It may be a good time to order some of these bigger prints because I'm going to be removing those and just selling the small prints online. And then I'm going to sell the big prints when I'm doing shows in person. So that's just a little bit of a heads up. Feel free to check out my site at theartmessiah.square.site. Okay, let's go ahead and jump right into this. This is going to be about an hour stream before we go ahead and end it. So this was a study that I did from an artist yesterday. Now we're going to be studying a different artist today. And what I'm interested in right now is colors. Okay, so this artist's name that we're going to be studying, their name is Rory, and you can kind of see the spelling there, but I'm going to go ahead and put it on the screen a little bit better. So we're going to grab this, and then we're going to grab a pen really quickly. Grab a G pen, and I'll just spell out their name so you guys can see. So their name is T-O-O-R-Y. U-R-I-I. Okay, so feel free to go follow them on Twitter. That's where I follow them, and they got some great art. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do, I don't want to use that. I do not want to use that pen. Yeah, we'll use this, sure, why not? Okay, so before I start studying an artist, I really want to pay attention to what it is that I want to learn from them. So I'm going to make some bullet points. The main thing that I want to study is their use of color. Okay, so what that breaks down to is color selection and their use of color theory. I really like how this lighting is set up. So we're going to be studying lighting. Okay, so what portions of lighting are we going to be studying here? Well, I like how this is an overhead style lighting, and I like how everything is in shadow except that top here. And I love this really saturated blue that they have on the hair. But in my case, whatever the hair color I would choose would probably determine what kind of blue I use there. What's also interesting is that they use a gradient here. And then on the inside of the hair, they shift this blue of the hair kind of more over into the purples, which is kind of like, I think as you get closer to red, you're getting a little bit warmer in the color spectrum. So like yellow would be the warmest and blue would be the coldest. So you could go either direction. You could go from blue going into the greens to get warmer, or you could go blue to going into the reds. Now a purple is in that in between that blue and that red. So I think what they're kind of doing here is basically if there was any light behind them, they're allowing that light to kind of peek through. And allowing that light to add warmth to the piece. And so I really like how they did that. So we're gonna add I don't know what that's called, but like it's kind of showing maybe the translucency of the hair and then that light being able to pass through. So we're gonna say light passing through. All right. And then let's see, I really like how they colored their line work. Okay, so you can see that lines disappearing here and lines are disappearing here. And those lines that are disappearing are taking on whatever the local value of color is. Okay, so that's very interesting, and we're going to incorporate that as well. We're going to simplify a lot of the shading and not use as many gradients and soft brushes. We're just more so focused in on some other techniques. And this is what I mean by being intentional when you study from an artist. You're picking and choosing what it is that you want to learn that time. And this eyelashes have a light interior, which I think is interesting. Okay, so I think that's about all that I kind of want to study. I want to study a little bit of these color gradients. I want to study this saturated blue for the hair. And I want to show how that color is passing through the hair. So what I would do first is I would do a study, right? And then I would try to apply that information to my own character or a different drawing. So that's what we're going to be implementing today, and we're going to see how it goes. Just to, you first learn, and then you second implement, and you see if your theories came true or didn't, right? So every little technique that they do, try to create a theory behind it. Like just this entire gradients from this dark into this light and then going into this green. That's very interesting, and I think what they're doing there is showing basically how the light is passing through and how the colors are getting warmer and warmer. Okay. Also, how is everybody doing today? I noticed that there's some viewers in here. Let me know how your day is going. If you're chilling at work, or if you're also drawing, or whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, so we have our reference. Now we're going to start doing our line work. And let's use this to begin. We're going to zoom out slightly. And right now, I really don't care too much about proportion. What's more important to me is, again, we're going to be studying those coloring techniques. So you may notice that, you know, I'm not being entirely accurate at this stage, and I don't really care about being accurate. And again, the reason I'm studying this artist is because I already naturally tend to use a lot of saturated colors, and I feel like they have some additional techniques that are useful, and I want to try to gain control of some of those things that they're implementing. And again, you don't just want to have like one art inspiration or reference, because then you're going to be a mimic. But at this point in time, I already have my own distinct style, so I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about creating a direct, you know, copy of this person's style, because I know I'm going to be good. But that may be something you need to think about a little bit as a beginner artist, is to not to just take all your time with one artist, and to give yourself a lot of time to experiment on your own. Okay, so this line work stage honestly isn't really that important. So I'm not going to try to be perfect here. I'm not going to try to do this like one-to-one, because again, the proportions aren't important. What we're learning from this piece is coloring techniques. Okay? All right, so we're pretty much kind of finishing up here with the line work. Again, I do not need the line work to be perfect. In fact, I want the line work to kind of match already my style, because the line work isn't the focus of study. And I'm kind of happy with just how I do lines so far. I mean, I just have a lot of fun with them and stuff like that, so I'm not really trying to change that. Okay. So something a bit like this, right? Alright, so we're just going to finish up with these eyebrows by filling these in. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with coloring now. We're going to do a base layer first and foremost. And all the color picking I want to do just from visual. I don't want to use an eyedropper or anything, because you know, when I do these types of studies, I am also trying to just get more comfortable selecting my own colors by having a reference for what the kind of lighting is and where I need to be at in the color wheel. Now, when I'm looking at this, and I take a little bit of a step back, I'm getting a lot of reddish, purplish kind of tones. So I think I'm going to stop about right there. I'm going to try filling that in. And we can always do adjustments later, but the idea is to choose something. Just get started with something, right? And then we'll come in and clean it up and modify it the way we need it to be. All right. And I think to myself, how close did I get? Well, I think I need it to actually be more brown, looking at the two colors. And I'm curious what you guys think, but that's what my initial response is. Also, do think it needs to be maybe a tad bit darker. But yes, I need to get up into the browns here. Actually, I think that's pretty good. And I think I just want to make it tad bit darker. We're going to go slightly back into the reds now. And darker. I'm going to just scoot back from the screen a little bit and take a look. It's still not a direct color match. I think there's a little bit more purple in there. But I'm going to take down the saturation slightly. I think it's slightly too saturated. So we're going to bring that down. Then we're going to do another color check. Okay. That's getting a little bit closer. We're going to get closer to red and desaturate it slightly more. And I think that's maybe close enough. Maybe a little bit lighter though. Alright, and we're going to color pick that, and we're going to see where we stand. So it's about in the red. It's like a desaturated red kind of color. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a slightly purple undertone. This is going to be the only time that I use a soft brush. Let me double check I even have a soft brush that I can use. But yeah, we're going to pick a kind of purple undertone and darker. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more saturated and less far over there. Less. Okay. And we're just going to do that for the bridge of the nose and the cheeks here, and maybe up there a little bit. That's just to kind of give myself a little bit of a base. And then we're going to go straight into the shadows. And we get cooler, more desaturated, and we start kind of working with this. It's more purpley, so we're going to drop down here a little bit more, make it a little bit more saturated. And it's actually kind of close, so we're going to start there. We're going to clip these. I'm not really sure what happened actually. Okay, so we're gonna do something like that. Under the eyes, we're gonna get some extra shadow. Kind of on this entire side of the face. And then cast shadow from the nose. And that's about it in terms of shadows. We're gonna get some shadow from the hair. Cast shadow from the hair at least. Just something like that. It's kept pretty simple actually. I'm going to try to stick to a hard brush about as much as I can. That kind of shows some redness on the ear. Alright, we're going to create an overlay layer. For a few highlights. Scarce. Like, we don't need too many, honestly. We're gonna jump back to this, and we're gonna get lighter, but barely slightly, and we're just gonna, nope, we're gonna. Alright, now we're gonna add in our eyes, which I just want to point out that eyes are almost never, they're never pure white, and you want to save your pure white for your rim lighting and for your for like some highlights and stuff. You don't want to make use of those too soon. I always do those at the very end of the piece. Okay, so I don't really care too much about the rendering of the eyes. That's not something that I really want to dive into or necessarily learn from this piece. So we're going to jump up into the hair and kind of work there. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick selection here for my hair. The reason we're doing a selection first is because I want to add in a gradient. So we're going to deselect that because the lasso tool was not selected. Okay, and we're going to do a gradient. We're going to start in this blue realm, and it's going to be a pretty dark blue, and that's going to gradient into a lighter hue of blue, something along the lines of maybe that. So we're going to come back to here, we're going to grab our gradient tool, and we're going to do foreground to background, right? And we're going to just drop our gradient in here like so, and make it go down a little bit further, something like that. Okay, we're going to deselect that. How do we want to do this? Start with our white and then go with our blue, or do our blue and then go over with the white? We're going to start off with our blue and then going with the white, because that's personally how I would work. And so when you're also trying to incorporate these styles, try to imagine how you would do it, and so it makes it a little bit easier to implement. And again, I really want to point out, not only to be specific, but try not to learn too much at once. Just one thing and then try to implement it immediately. That's the copyability. Alright, so we're going to go over to the blue, and we're just going to make it like the most absolute saturated blue you can possibly get. Alright, and so what we're going to do from there is we're going to start dropping in this blue into this piece. Like so. And one thing I'm noticing is that, look at they're just shapes. They're not complicated. They're not like individual strands, and that's what you want to start out with. You know, we can add detail in probably later, but we just want to start with the big shapes. Now we're going to come in with the white, and we're going to kind of like help make this pop even more. Alright, so now we're going to do the inside of the hair. That's got a gradient going on as well. We're going from like a bluish kind of thing to a purplish kind of thing. So we're going to bring that in like this. Then we're going to take the background color and we're going to move that pretty squarely into that purple. A little bit pinker. A little bit pinker. Something like that. And we're going to come to our gradient. We're going to do some gradients now. So honestly, this is like a 3-step gradient, but we're going to see what we can do here. So we're going to select okay, and then we're going to come in and do a different gradient where it's kind of coming in from a bluish green perspective. And we're going to go in like that. But we're going to do foreground to transparent, and we're going to do something like this. I need to move this out of the way if I can. I can't. No, that's okay. Well, I do still want to do that on like a separate layer, so I can kind of take that on and off. All right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna come back to here. We're gonna come to this brush specifically, because I need to redo that gradient because I was kind of paying attention to the wrong spot. Okay, I'm going to create a new layer. Okay, so I think I'm going to merge some of these layers down by, well, first I'm going to group them together. And then that way I can just quickly erase through all this stuff now, as if they were one layer. Okay, and then we're gonna take off our little reference layer for a second at least. Alright, so we're coming up on 12, so we're going to start kind of wrapping up this session. But we're at least going to get a little bit more done first by doing some of the coloring of the lines. And so what I like to do for that now in Clip Studio Paint is I like to make a clipping layer for the line work itself. Before I do that though, I want to just add in the eye fill again. Okay, so now I'm going to come up here to the line work. Should be this guy, and we're going to add a clipping layer. We're going to take the exact same color right there, and we're going to color in the line on top of it. All right. Let's go ahead and turn this back on. Okay, and then kind of same thing over here a little bit. And then maybe just a little bit of color like this. And then we take this color, we send it into pink a little bit, and we make it a little bit darker. So it's that, but we want to use a darker color for that. Alright, so we are adding in a bit of what it is that I wanted to study. So that saturated blue looks really cool. The eyelashes we haven't messed around with yet. But even just the gradient with the hair and the light passing through, I think does look really cool. Let's just continue to add some light here into this. So we're going to stick with blue, but now it's just going to be like a darker blue, and we're going to use that for there and here. Actually, we're going to use this color about. And let's see here. I'm going to grab this. We're going to come do the reds a bit. So add in the red there. eyes are like crazily saturated in a cool way, but it's some crazy saturation right there in the center. I'm just gonna leave it with the blue for now. Hey, what's up, Ocean? I was just about to kind of finish up here. Just doing some color studies for some artists that make use of color really well, and I think would work pretty well within my style. So I was just doing a little bit of a style study here for today, just to get a hold of some, different techniques that I can maybe start implementing in some of my more finished pieces, polished pieces. But we are going to be wrapping up here soon. Let's see what you got. Did you see Clip Studios having a sale on the 3.0 update for a single license? Not to subscribe. The Pro upgrade is $16 and the X upgrade is $46 right now. I think there are still 2 or 3 days left. Ooh, that's really important to know. I'm gonna have to look into what the 3.0 update includes, because I'm not really so sure. I've just kind of been using the program as is when I bought it with the license, so I'm not sure all that it entails. But that sounds pretty cool and like something that I should probably take a look into. But yeah, sorry for sorry that you're coming in right when I'm about to head out. But I do want to thank everyone for coming through for this stream. Just a little bit of exploration and learning today. And we're going to be doing a lot more streams here in the future. We're going to be working on a lot of anatomy stuff. We're going to be working on backgrounds, environments, perspective. Right, I'm going to be doing all these things as I gear up for some new videos. I'm trying to do as much as I can right now before I, kind of get back to working more so full-time instead of part-time is what I'm doing right now. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining this stream. My online shop is open, and so is a few other things that I've got going on, but yeah, I am going to be able to do some shipping. I'm going to be doing mostly 4x6 prints here on the shop, and stickers, and selling keychains. There's quite a few that I need to replenish because there's quite a few that are out of stock. But I don't have an in-person show for a while, so I don't have like a super rush or anything like that. For those of you that are interested in keeping up with everything Ignition, please check out my newsletter. Starting next month, I'm going to be uploading new scenes. It is kind of my first draft of the first arc, and so I am excited to share it with y'all and hear your guys' feedbacks and comments and stuff like that. I've had a few beta readers kind of look through it, and yeah, I'm just kind of really excited about that. Oh, one thing before I leave, I guess I can show my little teaser trailer that I've made. Just give me 1 second. One moment. let's bring this back in. And let's drop out the music really quickly. Okay, so here is my little teaser trailer for Ignition. Okay, no worries. I have to head out to get ready for work. I wanted to pop in and say hi. Thanks for stopping in and saying what's up. I really appreciate it. This is a surprise stream, but I'm going to post my schedule for what we're going to be doing for the next 2-3 weeks. So that way, you know, people have a little bit of a heads up. But I just wanted to get some art done, and I figured why not stream a little bit. All right, guys. So here's a trailer for Ignition.
Ignition.
And I'll just play that one more time from the beginning.
Ignition.
But yeah, that's like a little mini thing that I made. I'm not well, I should say you can find out a little bit more about the story here, reading my synopsis. So my website is great to check out. And then join in on my newsletter. It's got all kinds of art, all kinds of, you know, writing that I have. And it's a great time. I'm going to be probably posting an update to the newsletter today. I'm currently writing through it. So yeah, feel free to subscribe to that. Thank you guys so much for coming through. I hope you guys have a great Monday. And until next time, which is probably going to be Wednesday at 8 p.m. EST, take it easy and keep on keeping on. All right. Peace and love, everyone.
Ignition.